What do you think about emotions? Do you think there's some usefulness to them? Yeah, it's a good topic, right? So I've done 2 videos on what emotions do for us, and I'm just going to touch on some different things here. So if you're seeing this, you can see my full discussion on it, which I'm really breaking it down slowly, slower than I probably know what I'm doing. And I'm definitely open to input on it, and I'm learning right along with you. But I did 2 videos on basically what emotions do for us. You can check them out on my channel and put in the word emotions along with my name, and they should come up. I am making a playlist of this. So actually, I already have a playlist beginning with this series. So you can go to the playlist under my name, and it's called Emotions. I add more to it, but it's basically called Emotions, and see them as they're coming out. If you decide to subscribe, hit the bell. I only do 1 message video a week, and then I put a short on, and I do want to put more shorts on my channel, but basically you're only getting 1 of these a week. And so you hit the notifications and you'll begin to get that. So emotions, what do they do for us? What do you think? Well, one thing, hi Cindy. One thing that I just went over in this video, I just got off making one of the videos, and I basically talk about the foundation of what do we do with our emotions. And what I went over briefly was the fact that God, if you're a believer in Jesus like I am, this is what I've been taught, and I do believe it's true. It could possibly be put in some different ways of wording it. But God is 3 in 1. He's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, right? He's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And all of them are one and in one relationship, but different parts of God, if you want to say. And we are made of 3 in 1. Body, soul, and spirit. Body, soul, and spirit. And within the soul, we're made of 3. And this is what I was taught in college and at my church. In my psychology degree, taught this as well. In our soul, we have will, thoughts, and emotions, or mind, will, and emotions. Mind, will, and emotions. So emotions are 1/3 of our soul, which is most of what we're making decisions off of, and our thoughts come from that, and our feelings come from that. So, and then that is 1/3 of our whole being when you look at the body, soul, and spirit. So should we be ruled by them? No, but we're going to talk about that more later. I'm just kind of starting at the foundation, because I think so many people, and we all go through that, we have been, especially if it happened in our upbringing, where we were shut down with our emotions. We were shut down, maybe not even allowed to think or talk or tell our opinion and any of those things. So that is all a lot of what we've been taught. We're in adulthood that we're really not supposed to, like anger especially. Don't show anger. Oh, just calm down, what have you. I know I was shut down a lot verbally and with my emotions. So a lot of us have had that in different regards, or we've just believed it. So I think it's important to establish the truth that emotions need to be honored and acknowledged, and realize there's actually a role for them. And just one, because I'm not going to go into every one of them here, is that they actually are our guide. Our emotions guide us. You could say they're like symptoms, like our body, when our body has symptoms and we listen to them, we realize we're in pain, and pain is not fun, but pain indicates something's wrong, right? So sometimes things are wrong and we don't feel it, and that's not always good. Yeah, we don't want anybody to be in pain. We don't want to be in pain. But if we have cancer and we don't know we have cancer because we have no pain, and then all of a sudden it's 4th stage, and I have a friend who's in this position right now, still in shock that she is in stage 4 cancer. It's not really good. It almost would be good to have had pain that got you into the doctor and you end up finding out and doing tests and realizing what the problem is. So emotions are not all fun. A lot of them we can call negative, not because they're bad, because one thing I established in my first video is that emotions are good. They are useful and they are God-given. And God has emotions too. So, and I'm going to talk more about that in my next video and pull some scriptures and some examples. If you look at the Old Testament and the Jewish people, the Israelites, which are God's people, God definitely had anger to, over what they did in their disobedience. And he expressed anger. So anyway, these are just touching on some different things that I'm going over. But so it's really a part of who we are. We don't want to glorify them. We don't want to make all our decisions based on emotions. But if we look at what we're experiencing, it can show us something about ourselves. We can learn from them. They can be a guide. They can help us to know what's going on in our soul and in our heart. And another thing is just coming to me just to touch on a little bit is that they can show us what our values are, what really matters to us. If you're a Christian like me, we have a lot of the same beliefs. So we probably have a lot of convictions from right and wrong because of our Christian faith. But we all have different values. And I've heard that before. And that's a whole nother teaching. But we all have different values, things that are more important for me that may not be as important to you, and things that are more important in life to you than to me. Communication is very important to me. And I think it's one of my gifts too. So it's very important, whereas other people may not need the same amount of communication as I do. And, honesty could be more important to one person than another person may think it's okay to lie. Sometimes. There's lots of things. Those are just a couple of them that are coming to my mind. So you may value time with people more, or strongly value being on time. It's really important to be on time. You're not on time. That really upsets me. Different things we value. So hi, Christine. So I just wanted to touch on my series on emotions and say that, I'm first talking about on my YouTube channel, I'm first talking about what do emotions do for us, and establishing that they are God-given. They're a part of our being and our soul, and they're part of our soul is one part of our whole makeup, which is spirit, soul, and body. So if you understand that, you realize that the emotions shouldn't be ignored. They shouldn't be stifled. They shouldn't be pushed down. They shouldn't be thrown aside or dismissed or dishonored. So some different words there, right? But it's important. And so I also have like a list of different emotions. Put it in the comments if you can think of different emotions. I needed this for myself because I've been focusing in on sadness and even anger. Those are actually two top emotions for grief. And so is anxiety. Anxiety could be a third one, is a very common one to experience with grief and loss. And I think a common one we're all experiencing in general in life. But there's a lot of other ones we could call emotions. So if y'all think of them, please put it in the comments. Let's see. How about overwhelmed? Feeling overwhelmed. That's a common one I like to help people with, because I feel that mandate from God as a life coach to help people, especially who, their loss may have been a long time ago, but they're just overwhelmed and they don't know what to do and they're stuck. And I really like to help people with that, to kind of, let's figure out what you're doing to add to your grief, because you can't change the facts of your grief. You can't change. The person's gone. You can't change that. But we sometimes add on because then we're hard on ourselves and we're suffering with guilt. We have trauma mixed in with that. So there can be all these other things that we're dealing with on top of the grief. What about confusion? Disappointment. Who's been disappointed? I actually got prayed over at a women's conference and that word came up and I thought, that's true. I guess I do feel disappointed by certain people in my life and situations. Definitely disappointment. What about stressed out? What about tense? Frustrated? Yeah, that's one I definitely go through, frustrated. What about numb? Or you're in shock? Or you just feel empty? Maybe we could call feeling stuck. Stuck is a feeling like I feel stuck. I think sometimes we are stuck and we don't know it, but maybe feeling stuck is another way to look at it. Feeling very weepy, very sensitive, I feel guilt, shame, devastation, fear, definitely. We all experience fear, don't we? Who here experiences fear? If we're honest, we do. It's all about what we do with it, right? So my next part of my series that I just started beginning today is what do we do with our emotions? What do we do with them? Or do we do anything with them? I tell you, even if you don't do anything with them, you're either ignoring them, stuffing them, holding them back, and that kind of thing. And it's very unhealthy. We've got to get our grief out. That is very known by all the experts that we have to get it out, and it's going to come out some other way. Grief affects our body, our physical health, but it will affect it even more if you keep it inside. So I always have to say that because it's important that we know and to give each other and give ourselves permission to grieve, to let our grief out. And that means let our thoughts out, the things we're thinking, all the kinds of things we're thinking, and also our feelings. They both go hand in hand. Memories have both thoughts and feelings involved. And sometimes they actually have bodily feelings. We can feel physically what we felt from the past. A lot of people with trauma, when it comes up, they can feel that. And that's not easy at all. By the way, I believe that grief, all trauma has grief involved with it, but not all grief has trauma. That's another thing we could talk about. But there are losses definitely in trauma, a loss of innocency, a loss of relationship, etc. And there is definitely people who have lost a loved one if they've seen that person, their body or what have you, or car accidents. I don't want to go into anything triggering here, but they can have trauma with that grief and not just have the grief to deal with, but the trauma as well. So these are all things. Can you all think of any other types of feelings? What about remorse, loneliness, heartbrokenness? Peace is a good one. A lot of these we can call them negative, but that doesn't mean that they're negative, they're bad. It means that they just can bring us down. And but we need to recognize what's behind that. It's like a symptom in your body. You know, what is the root of that? So I was experiencing some anger this morning. And even because I'm doing this series, I was able to say, you know what? I feel angry, and that's okay. It's understandable why I'm angry. I won't go into why, but I felt disrespected through a text that I received and several texts. And I just felt, you know, why am I not being cared for in this matter with a family member? So, you know, we can feel anger because we're not being treated with respect or care, or people are assuming bad of us when, you know, we really don't think we've done anything to be bad to them. And so we can experience all kinds of emotions and all kinds of things in life, and emotions are important. And when we get them out and express them, hopefully in a healthy way, in a way that, and I'll be talking more about that, then we can feel relief, we can feel better, and we can also be healthier. We can be healthier in our mind when we express our emotions, I believe. We can be healthier in our bodies. We can be healthier in our relationships if we establish trust that we can share our emotions. So my series on emotions, again, for some of y'all that just came on, is on my YouTube channel. I'm 3 videos into it, but only 2 have been published. One I just did, and there'll be many more to come. If you all think of something that concerns you about your emotions, your feelings, or have a question about that, I'd love to hear your questions, and then I will try to address them on my videos or on more lives. Would you all like to hear more on the lives about emotions and what do we do with them? Let me know. They are a part of our memories, emotions, and thoughts, and they need to be recognized. They need to be honored. We need to allow ourselves to feel them. And is that fun? Does it hurt sometimes? Heartache, heartbrokenness was the word I just said. Heartache. It can feel really rotten. It can feel really rotten when we feel heartache. But heartache is something we go through. Who's been through heartache? I have. Probably most of us have been through heartache. So feelings are important. Emotions are part of our being. Who here agrees with that? Emotions are part of our being. Again, our church and my Christian education for psychology taught that we are 3 in 1, as God is 3 in 1, only different than God. We have body, soul, and spirit. And in our soul, we have mind, will, and emotions. So emotions are a third of our soul, if you believe that. And they are. We have them. We can't really deny them. So if we can't deny that we have them, should we be denying that they're there? Should we be stuffing them and stifling them, pushing them aside, letting other people shut us down? If we're around people that don't allow it, it doesn't mean that's the place to express it. In fact, it probably is safer to find a safe place, someplace safe and someone safe to share those emotions with. And most likely that's going to be through words and thoughts. And then sometimes we're just going right for the thoughts, and all of a sudden emotions start coming up. And, it doesn't mean we're going to go full blown into the emotions. We're all different with that, but we shouldn't stifle them either. And you know what emotions do that it's really helping me to identify is they help us get in touch with what matters to us. They can bring out or be a symptom of what matters, what's important to us, what's valuable to us, what we need, what we desire. Think about how many times you're in a group of people and there's high emotions. I use the example of a game. And I'm not a football fan. And frankly, the emotion that goes on at games is a little bit intense for me. And we probably all have that. Some people probably would think my church, which is CCWC Calvary Chapel Worship Center, is a little too intense in their worship. And maybe they don't want to be at that church because that's too intense. I'm great with that. But, we can all probably say there's times in group settings that we would be too much. My one son loves all kinds of music, and thanks, all kinds of music. And he even likes hard rock. I never thought my son Jeremy would like all that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't go to hard rock screaming concerts. It would be way too much for me. So we all have different things, like that. And that's okay. But we, in and of ourselves, if we're experiencing anger over the loss of a loved one, or extreme sadness, or we're depressed, we need people around us that are safe, that can love on us and not just shut us down for that, or correct us, or tell us to stop feeling that way, stop being that way. So I'm already getting into what I'm going to be getting into in my videos, but I'm just kind of flowing with this right now. We need to have permission from others. But first of all, it has to start with us, right? Because if we don't, like some people say, if we don't respect ourselves, we can't expect other people to respect us. I don't know. I just thought of that. But what about if we don't give ourselves to have permission to feel what we're feeling? We can't expect to have others allow that, or it won't matter if others allow it because we haven't allowed it. So it needs to start with us. But if you're having a hard time with that, find a support group or a group where you can show your expression so that it helps you to express what you feel. Because it's so important to get it out, y'all. It can't stay inside. It will come out some other way. It'll erupt. It'll hurt your health. It's going to affect your life. Trust me. yeah, it's going to come out. It's a fact, and all the experts say so. So, excuse me, my allergies or something been acting up with the rain. So how do you all feel today? What are feelings you're going through? And are they attached to a loss that you're being affected by? And it's not just the death of a loved one. You could have lost a friendship. You could have had disappointing news about a really important relationship in your life. So what are y'all experiencing? And is there anything you would like me to address with the emotions? And would y'all like to hear more videos about this? I was starting to go live every week a few months ago and it stopped. Oh, I think a big part of it was because I got a part-time job and now I was let go. So that one's over. So, but life coaching is my ongoing ministry, business tree, if you want to call it that. And if any of you know somebody or you need one-on-one help, you need support and how to express the emotions and the memories from the past that are haunting you, or you just have never resolved, or a loss from a long time ago that you never worked through because you never had the permission, or you were too busy and it wasn't the timing. Because one thing about emotions is sometimes there's a valid reason not to fully let them out. You know, it's just not the right timing. We're in the middle of work or what have you, or we're just not totally ready for that. So there is a time to not share, and it's okay to give your permission not to fully let those emotions out. But it is important to not always do that and think you're not supposed to do that. Oh no, I'm not, I should just get over that. And why am I feeling that? And things like that. So that is, we need permission. We need to allow, we need to acknowledge them. We need permission. Other words that I use that kind of may help is, let's see here. It is to respect and honor your emotions, to give yourself permission, to make room for them. But overall, I call that the acceptance of our emotions. So acceptance of our emotions. Yes, hi. So it's great to have you all on here. And again, just so you know, I have a YouTube channel and I'm going on in depth about this whole topic about emotions right now. God put this on my heart. Been talking about it in our support group. It's every Monday night at Calvary Chapel Worship Center in Newport Richey. If you're anywhere in the area, you're welcome to join us. You don't have to come every week. It's just as needed to come to our group. It only goes from 7 to like just before 8. Actually, we have to end at 8 o'clock. So it's 1 hour. And this last month, we've had actually mostly men attending. So I want to make sure that the men out there know that this is a men and women's group of any type. Even, I wouldn't say a little child, but even a younger child that comes with their parent, if they can sit still and they're okay. I've had that happen. I've had a mother bring, I don't remember exactly how old she was, but a younger, not like really young, but like, I think a 10 or 12-year-old or something like that, or 10-year-old. And if they can handle it, call me and let me know, and we'll say yes, most likely to that. But in general, adults, but any types of losses, most people come for bereavement, but it can be a divorce or other things. And we've been talking about our emotions, and it's been good, and really giving ourselves permission to feel what we feel and to learn from our emotions, and, let that be a indicator of what else is going on inside of us, and realize that our thoughts, yes, a lot of times need to come out, but so do our emotions. So that's about my YouTube channel. And then I offer a free consult, complimentary consult to anyone who would like to meet with me to possibly work with me one-on-one with coaching. I do it right here in this room, in my home, and also online. And so there's no obligation with that. It's totally to see it's for me also to see if I feel like I can help you, and for you to see if you want to work with me. And we work with we have the Holy Spirit right there. It's got to be God involved. And I'm happy to say that the Lord has brought victory and a lot of breakthroughs with those that I've worked with. and it's a pleasure of mine. I am very reasonable in my costs. So if you have issues with finances, and you want to just get on, let's just get on and find out what exactly you need and what you want to see happen in your life, and then see if it's a fit or not. It's as simple as that. And then we go forward from there. And then again, we have our support group, and then we also have my YouTube channel, which I really, hey, those of you who are on, I'm really asking friends and anybody who cares, anybody who likes my message or the ministry God's given me and wants to support in any way, to get on and watch the video and listen to some of them. Like them if you do, and subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell. Anything you're willing to do with that, check it out at least and see if it helps you, because I'm in the process of having hired a man from Bangladesh who's, assisting, and we're trying to move towards monetizing the channel. So, and just getting it out there more so that more people, again, I'm not for everyone. Nobody's for everyone, but just reaching those who do need help, because so many people need help with grief and loss. So many people need to know that what they're feeling is normal. It's okay. Oh my gosh. I love helping people with that. It's like part of the passion God's given me, because so many people just need to go, what? That's normal? I'm not going crazy, or I'm not bad for feeling that or going through that. Why am I lazy? Why am I not thinking right? I don't know. Just all those kinds of things. So many people need to know that what they're feeling and experiencing is not fun, but it is normal. And then what do we do with that? And how do we help ourselves to cope? How do we regain hope? How do we heal? How do we move towards healing? It's just such a huge issue all around the world. And so I just want to get the channel out there and help more people. And so if you want to help with that, I would really appreciate it as I close this live out, because my battery's, I think, about to die. So as I close this out, please check out my channel. It's Julie Kay Kettles. If you don't remember my middle name, I say Julie Kay, helping you find your way through grief and loss. So everybody doesn't call me Julie Kay, but as far as my, business and ministry, I do say Julie Kay, helping you find your way. So if you forget the middle name for Kay, not that hard to remember, Julie Kettles, which a lot of y'all know, just know my first and last name, like a teapot, Mom, Pa Kettles, Kettles chips, popcorn, whatever. It's just like it sounds, Kettles. Yes. And so please tell others about my channel. I do hope to actually get on Messenger more and share some of my short videos. If you all see that, please share it out from there. All it takes is a little effort from everybody around, and it can start spreading and give more people help that can benefit from it. I've put a lot of work into it. God told me in 2022, after doing a huge online summit, to begin to do regular videos every week. And a lot of people say, oh, you should do more. And I don't do enough social media, so that's why I'm on here today. But he told me to be regular with it. And then my son ended up sharing with me, because he has a channel. He said, Mom, you need to do shorts. So now I do shorts, usually about nature or about animals, sometimes with me dancing. I just do shorts to let people know a little bit more about me. And that helps the channel to get out there. So the shorts are usually on a Saturday or Sunday. And then this video the message video is what I call it, is usually on Fridays. About 5 is when I publish them. And they're usually at the max of 15 minutes. I've been trying to make them shorter. So they vary, but I definitely try not to make them longer than 15, very tops 20 minutes. And so that's just so you know how long those videos are. And so we're believe with me for the channel to get out there more. I really have not asked this and put this out there, but God's telling me it's time, and I'm believing for it to multiply more and get out there more, because I have been faithful with putting those weekly videos up. And, it takes work, it takes dedication, and you're doing it all for free. So if the channel gets monetized, that will just help me to continue to spread the word and get it out there more. So thank you all for being on here and hearing that and supporting it and praying for me. And let's all just let's make grief, the expression of grief, normal. Let's normalize the expression of grief, is what I like to say. It's part of my mission, is to normalize the expression of grief. Yes, in the right place at the right time, but normalize it. Because if people would be given permission, they would be a lot calmer, and we wouldn't have people going to substances and all these other unhealthy ways of dealing with grief. And you all know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to spell it out. A lot of unhealthy ways that people are dealing with their grief and loss. And I have talked to plenty of experts that are mental health experts, and they all agree grief is a huge part of mental illness and mental health problems. So, all right, that's my mission. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you joined me last week at the